if there is one video you need to watch to absolutely perfect your self-tan routine, it is this one. You are here, welcome. You guys, it is 2024, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. With love, looking out for you. We cannot be walking around with our self-tan looking like this. No. No more. So I'm gonna show you my very in-depth self-tan routine. A couple of ground rules though before we get started. Two very important things that I never skip. Before you tan, make sure you exfoliate really well. I love taking this Kitsch exfoliating glove, but I will use it in tandem with one of these KP scrubs. So I have this one from Kopari. It's their KP Body Bumps Be Gone, or the First Aid Beauty KP Bump Eraser Body Scrub. Basically the same thing, they both have pumice in it, so it's got that nice grit to it. I have KP on my arms and legs, so that's like one of the main reasons I bought this, but I found that by putting a little bit of the scrub on this mitt by the way is great for exfoliating, but in combination with the scrub, next level. So I will always do this first all over, not just arms and legs where I have KP, all over. This combination also works really well if you have a layer of self-tan on or like remnants of self-tan and you want to scrub it all off and start over, then you can use this too. Second rule, and this is so important if you want your self-tan looking seamless, especially on your legs, do not shave right before you're gonna apply self-tan. I would recommend shaving like 24 hours in advance. If I'm going on vacation, I actually like to wax because I find that my self-tan will last longer throughout the vacation. Like if it's a tropical vacation and I'm shaving every day, it's gonna start like sloughing off your tan and like the dead skin every time you shave. So I actually prefer, if it's like a tropical location, to wax maybe like the day or 2 days prior to the day I'm gonna tan. And the reason you don't wanna wax or shave the day of tanning is, I don't know if you've noticed if this has ever happened to you, but when you apply your tan, or even when you rinse off, you'll have little like black specks everywhere. All of the self-tan that you've just swiped over your pores after freshly shaving is now stuck in those pores, and it is so hard to get out. I've even tried, like I've made that mistake before, shaved before tanning, rinsed, and the black dots were stuck all over. Tried even using this, and no. The only thing that will help that is time. I think probably like when the hair starts growing out, whatever self-tan is in there that's stuck gets unstuck. I don't know. If you're watching this now and it's too late, do not worry. If you didn't shave yesterday, go ahead and tan without shaving if you can. Hopefully you're not like going on vacation ASAP, but wait until after you've already tanned and let the tan marinate, and then rinse and then shave. You might lose a little bit of color just because you're shaving on like fresh tan, but at least you won't have the black dots all over your legs. So it's kind of like a little recap of my go-to schedule when I tan. I will either shave or wax 24 hours or more prior to the day I'm gonna tan. Then I will do an exfoliation shower right before tanning and then start with the tanning process. So let's go put some tan on. To our tanning session. I've got my tanning clothes on. It's usually just like an old t-shirt, typically a dark color, so in case it like transfers, it doesn't look weird. Very first step is you want to moisturize any extra dry areas. I'm sure you've heard this, but yes, definitely do not skip this step. I typically will tan right after a shower, but like I said earlier, make sure you're shaving at least 24 hours prior to the day you're gonna tan. But I will do just like a fresh exfoliation shower, and then immediately after I will dry off and then either apply the Jergens Ultra Healing Lotion, or I just have this CeraVe moisturizing cream on my counter. Really doesn't matter, just whatever lotion you like, whatever lotion you have. I just go for whatever is within reach. So usually you wanna moisturize your wrists, elbows, and then knees. Hopefully you guys can see. Ankles, and top of the foot. And make sure you're getting the sides of your feet too. Okay, I missed a lot of breath. And then we just jump right in. So I like to use a mousse when I tan, and I'll either go for the Letting Tan 2-Hour Express in dark, or I like the Luxe Unfiltered number 36 in deep. This one smells really good. It smells like blood oranges. Honestly, I feel like if it were a fragrance, I would wear it. Oh, it just smells so good. I would definitely recommend applying with a mitt. I have so many of these. It's just one of the ones I've accumulated over the years, but this one's more of like a fabric-y one versus this is like a foam kind of mitt. And I feel like these kind of last a lot longer. I've had these kind of thin foam cheapy ones fall apart, or like when your hand is in it, suddenly like the inside plastic will rip, and then whatever tan you've got on the mitt and you're applying is now on your fingers. This one's from This one's from Peta Jane. I like their tanning mousse too, but I think Luxe Unfiltered sells ones that are like kind of fabric-y. Maybe Loving Tan does too. But yeah, I'll use this kind of mitt, and I usually always tan from the bottom up. So I'll start with feet, shins, calves, thighs, work my way up, but skip the arms, and I'll show you why in a second, but let me start with feet. Let me start with the legs. I usually do 3 pumps per area, and I'll start by applying to the bottom half of the leg, stopping right at the knee, and then whatever's left on the mitt, just kind of brush down onto the foot, making sure to hit the sides and all the way down the heel. I'll do another 3 pumps, maybe 3.5, and do the upper half of the leg. Oh, so much better. I don't think I've gone this long without applying tan. I knew I wanted to make this video, but I really let whatever tan I had on fade like 100%. Oh my gosh, I was so pale. I'm so pale.
I'm so pale.
You're on it. And then I'll move up and usually do 3 pumps for the stomach, 3 or like 2 pumps for the lower back, like anywhere I can just easily reach. And I do have a couple tricks for getting like reaching the upper back if I don't have my husband here to help. So the reason I skip arms until the very end, I'll actually use the opposite hand to really push the elbow so I can reach as far as I can to the middle back. I'll pump like 1 or 2 on the mitt and then do this. I will also just like reach around, same thing this way, and then for the very, very hard to get spots, like in the very middle upper back, I'll put a pump on the top. This is the palm, this is the top. I'll put a pump on the top and reach around like this, and just kind of finagle it in the middle of the back. I'm gonna do all that, and then I'll come back and show you the arms and the hands.
A few moments later.
I save the arms for last, and what I do is I usually take like 2 or 3 pumps, and I'll just start applying. I'll go right over the elbows, the inner elbow, but I'll do 1 arm at a time, and then I will stop at the wrist. So I will not do the hands with the mitt, but I'll stop right about here, and same thing on the inside. And then before moving on to either the hands or the other arm, I will take some old translucent powder, just some old makeup I don't use, and apply this to any areas that will crease, or when you bend, then you might get like sweaty and the tan might move around. And then just do the other arm, same thing, stopping at the wrist. A little powder. Actually, real quick before we move on to the hands, whenever I do the neck and chest area, I will put like the 3 pumps, mainly here on the chest, and work that in. And then kind of same thing I did with the feet, whatever's left on the mitt, just kind of brush up. And I'll go all the way to the jawline, almost kind of, so it looks like a natural contour. I will also powder to the neck, so that way the neck wrinkles also don't look funny and start melting. And last but not least, the hands. I feel like this is where people struggle the most. So at this point, we've not got any tan on our hands from the mitt. I stopped any application of the tan at the wrist. If you did, by any chance, between just taking the mitt and switching it, touching the bottle or the pump, get any tan on your hands, go ahead and wash them with soap and water. Just be careful not to get it past the wrist area, and make sure to apply a nice layer of lotion. I'm just gonna apply another layer because you can never have too much, especially when it comes to the hands. I really don't want these looking funky, so even if I was careful and didn't get tan on my fingers anywhere, I will still go in with another layer of lotion. And then to apply, I will take an old makeup brush, different makeup brush from the powder that I use, put like a half a pump, and I'll show you. And I'll start with the top of the hand, keeping the majority of the tan on the top of the palms, and blending into the wrists. Same on the inside, and then whatever's kind of left on the palm or the brush, start to drag up the fingers, and I kind of make a little claw so it really gets in there. So I'll cover the entire top of the fingers and a little bit on the sides too, all the way up to the nails. So I feel like having that nice layer of lotion on, really good thick hand cream, definitely helps with not having funny looking creases or fingers. And always make sure to get the sides blending into, this brush shedding. I need to get a new one, or a new old one. See what other makeup brushes I have that I can switch this out for. I've used this one for a while and it's shedding. And then same thing on the other hand, about half a pump, starting on the top, blending into the wrists, making sure to get the sides, and then start blending it down the fingers. I'm also very careful with getting any on the palms, So just the top of the fingers and the sides. And once all of this is worked in, I'll take an old washcloth and it's ever so slightly damp. I will rub right here where the wrist and the palm meet. And I feel like this gives just a really nice diffused look, so the tan looks a lot more natural. And I'll also kind of like rub the palms and the palm sides of the fingers. That way anything that's on the palm side has no tan and it doesn't look obvious. Then I'll just rub the wrists together. So it is totally seamless. This is like my favorite trick. And that is it. So this is a 2-hour express tan, but I always want like the most out of my tan. So sometimes I will just sleep in this or leave it on for like 6 to 8 hours. But if I am awake during the time that I'm like marinating, I will usually go in and wash my hands after about like 3 hours. So I'll come back and check in and just show you, just regular washing my hands with soap and water. I feel like then the tan doesn't develop as dark on the hands and it looks just even more natural. If you're not awake and you're sleeping for your whole tan marination, don't worry about it. As long as you got like a nice thick layer of lotion on, then it should look pretty good. But sometimes that's what I do if I have the choice. All right, it's just past 9:30, so I'm gonna wash my hands. And I have a little bit of soap, just this regular Myers dish soap. And basically I'm just keeping it only on the hands, trying to be careful not to get it on the wrist. Keeping the hands pointed down. Even when I rinse, making sure none of the water goes up beyond the wrist. As long as the hands are the only thing getting washed and dried, then we're in business. So a little bit of the color, I guess Guard, I think is what it's called, has washed away, but in the morning when I rinse everything else off, this will all be pretty seamless. And then the next day I will rinse off, and I know that was a 2-hour express, but typically I do leave my tan on overnight. I like the 2-hour express, just the option to have that. They have one that's just like a regular, I think 6 to 8 hour, and the 2-hour express, but I keep repurchasing the 2-hour express just because having the option is nice in case I'm in a time crunch. I'll rinse it off after 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours. But if I have the time, I'm leaving it on all night so I can get nice and dark. Here are the hands, by the way, the next morning after rinsing. No crazy splotching or weird lines. Everything is looking good. So now to maintain your tan, you wanna make sure that you're moisturizing every day. Don't do like any hardcore exfoliation. Definitely not with this guy. Not until you're ready for a fresh layer of tan. And if you really want your tan to last, even a great tip for vacation, I really like applying a gradual self-tanner, probably like every 2 or 3 days. Two of my favorites are the Luxe Unfiltered number 32. This is the original one, and this is Deep. I'm almost out of both of these, but I love taking these on vacation. This one kind of smells like roses, and the Deep says Santal, which I normally don't like, but this one smells really good. But I will keep both of these handy because the Deep one I love to apply for all over the body, and then usually the original is what I'll use on the hands. Forgot to mention too, even with gradual tanner, make sure you're applying a layer of lotion or hand cream on the hands, elbows, wrists, any dry areas. Even with gradual tanner, it can grip onto dry skin and look funny. And the great thing about this, especially if you're traveling and there's like white sheets in the hotel or wherever you're staying, these won't stain the sheets. They're pretty much just like a clear-ish lotion. Yeah. Oh god, now I gotta wash that off. And also too, if I'm going on a tropical vacation where I know I'm gonna be in the pool a lot, typically resorts, pools are chlorinated and not saltwater, and your tan will fade a lot faster. I'll actually bring the mousse with me on vacation and just kind of be like strategic about when I'm gonna apply it, just so I don't get it all over their sheets. But yeah, if you don't wanna have to worry about that, then I would go with a gradual. And then if you're into tanning your face, I really like the Saint-Tropez Bronzing Water Face Mist, but you do not need a lot of this. It is colorless, so it's kind of hard to tell, like, don't go overboard. I only do probably about like 4 spritzes. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll like move the bottle as I'm spraying. You don't want any more than that. Trust me. Works really well. Again, colorless, so it doesn't stain your sheets. I will usually apply this after my moisturizer. So like at night, I'll go in with like this whole concoction. Or if I've done like the body mousse and I want to tan my face, then obviously this. But this will go on after all of my skincare, including after moisturizer, is just a light layer of this. But that is everything for the entire self-tan routine, including maintenance tips. I hope this helps. I hope from here on out, we're not walking around with crazy self-tan hands. Please make it stop. save this, share this with a friend so we can all walk around with flawless self-tans. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will definitely get back to you. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe if you are not already. And that way you don't miss future videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!